To First Center for Spiritual Living in New York City. This is our self-healing class, our Louise Hay class, which we have every Thursday at 7 p.m. Without fail. This is a special holiday edition. I know many people are traveling, so I'm surprised to see the people on the call that we have on the call. And some of you are watching us on Facebook and on Instagram and Zoom. And we always take this time to welcome you to send us a message, and we'll invite you into our Zoom call. We'll send you a link. If you do that, you'll be able to share after the lesson. It's the best way, really, to join with us. Though, if you're watching us a week from now or a month from now, you're coming at the right time there also. So however you're connecting, it's good. If you're watching us live, send us a chat, and we will include you in tonight's lesson on self-love, self-esteem. A little bit about us, in case this is your first time here. Louise Hay was a great inspiration to me personally. I started using her book when it came out, and I began facilitating groups and classes every week in Florida, and I brought her work into the schools and institutions, churches, treatment centers, and I've really seen miraculous things happen from people who start to embrace some of her life-changing ideas and philosophy. Her life-changing philosophy started right here at our particular center in New York City. We used to be called the First Church of Religious Science, and this is where Louise studied under the great Raymond Charles Barker and Stuart Grayson, and she took classes here similar to what we teach even now. Because of her influence on my life, I got more involved in the teaching, and eventually I came to New York, and I find myself in the very same place where the same center that she started. And we're teaching what's called principle. And that's a word that many of you maybe don't know, but it's the idea that there is a power and there is a life that you can engage and you can use to heal your life and change your life. And Louise gave some really wonderful messaging how to heal your life. And so I want to start this evening. We're pretty close to New Year's, with some new ideas and one of her famous meditations. It's only a couple minutes long. I'm sure some of you are familiar with it. So I invite you to relax, and we'll enjoy a couple minutes together. You might want to close your eyes if you like, and take a few deep breaths and bring yourself to a place of relaxation. It's a busy time, and we get to take a little time out right now and take a deep breath and exhale. And know at the center of your being, there's this place, this sacred place, an infinite well of intelligence and peace and love. And feel that love right now. I now allow this love to flow to the surface. It fills me, fills my body, my mind, my heart, my consciousness, my very being, and it radiates out from me in every direction. And as it goes out, it comes back to me. The more of it I use, the more love I use, the more I give of myself, the more I have to give. The supply is endless. The use of love makes me feel good. It's an expression of my inner joy. Breathe in, I love myself. I love myself, and therefore I take loving care of my body. I love myself, and I feed myself healthier foods and beverages. I lovingly groom myself, and I groom my body, and my body responds to me with vibrant health, with all this good nutrition and self-care. I love myself, therefore I provide for myself a comfortable space home to live in, and one that fills my needs and more than that is a pleasure for me to live in. I fill my space, my room, my home with a vibration of love, so that anybody who enters my space can feel nourished by this feeling. I love myself, therefore I work, doing whatever I do, a job or an occupation, an art. I work at doing something that I enjoy doing, where I get to give and create, and my creative talents are used. And I work along people on projects and jobs that I love and who love me, and I am supplied and supported with a good income. I love myself, therefore I think and I behave in a loving way to everybody, because I know that which I give out comes back to me multiplied. I want to say then, I attract only loving people in my world, for they are a mirror of what I am. I love myself, therefore I forgive everyone. I forgive everyone and I forgive myself. I'm willing to release the past. I want to release the past and allow myself to be free. Love holds no grievances. I release the past, and I know that everyone has done the best they could, including myself, with the information, the understanding, and the awareness that I have. I know that I am a beloved child of the universe, and that the universe is lovingly taking care of me now and forevermore. And so it is, said Louise Hay. I paraphrased her words, but it's essentially the same message. Wake up each day with, I love, accept, and approve of myself exactly as I am. That was a message that I was presenting to people well over 30 years ago. It was difficult to say that in a way in the beginning. I love, accept, and approve of myself exactly as I am. And as I presented this material to people, and as they say it to themselves, especially when they use a mirror, and they say, I love, accept, and approve of myself exactly as I am, all kinds of issues come up for people when they do that. I remember being involved in a group many years ago, and there was a very, very beautiful woman who was in the group, and everyone thought she was like a model or a movie star. And the mirror went around the room, and we each held the mirror to our face, and we said, I love, accept, and approve of myself exactly as I am. And it was tough for all of us, right? And then this lady, who we all thought, my goodness, she's like flawless, right? She had a very difficult time even holding the mirror to her face. And it was a great point of learning for all of us, because we never really know what's going on with other people. I mean, we think we know what's going on with other people, and you look at someone who's well attired and beautiful by most people's estimation, and they don't necessarily feel that on the inside. And when I was working with that lady all those years ago, in the end, after I don't know what period of time, I do remember her saying to me, I don't love myself yet, but I've been working on it, and I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to like myself a little bit. The thing we know about this teaching ultimately is whatever lives inside of us, that whole sense of who we are and what we are, is mirrored in our world. And many of us are pretty good at putting on a mask and getting through the day, and we learn to be socially acceptable and pleasing to others, and that's part of our socialization process. Our founding pastor, Raymond Charles Barker, said that we learn how to do that by the time we're 3 or 4 years old. Meaning we're smart natively, even as children, and we learn how to adapt and to please others. That's good, but the downside to that is little bits of ourselves can get chipped away in the process, and over time that part of us that's authentic and beautiful that Louise spoke of. Just look at these beautiful children. When they're infants, they know how to attract, they emit joy and they know how to get their needs met. They laugh and everybody's, right there with them, or they're crying, they're getting attention. As we get a little bit older, we ourselves learn how to adapt, and we get involved in a little bit of absorbing like a sponge from the environment what other people's thoughts and beliefs are, and what's right and wrong, and what we should do and shouldn't do. And that's where all the trouble actually starts. Louise Hay was fond of saying different things. One thing I remember getting a kick out of years ago was, for those of us who tend to be rigid or type A people who want what we want, and we want to run the show a little bit. She asked to just notice how often we use the word should. And then she went on to say, if you find that you're saying the word should about 40 times a day or more, she says it might indicate a pattern of rigidity within you. And I kind of remember laughing about it because I've had a lot of people in my life who have interacted with me that way. Usually they're controlling. Generally, they're coming from a place of what's wrong and what's missing. And the thing I know, and Louise Hay noted, is nobody really wants to hang around those people. And as I recall, I'm going back 40 years now, I always thought I was kind of cool, but I remember being in a group where I could see what was wrong with everyone, because I was smart enough to see what people were doing, and I was quick enough to judge them. But the problem with all of that is, if you're able to see what people should be doing and what's wrong, more often than not, these issues that you're seeing in other people are in you, and you just haven't fully dealt with them as of yet. There's an old expression from some of the spiritual recovery groups I'm fond of, which would be, if you have one finger pointed at someone, you have three pointed at yourself. And said another way, in kind of a fun way, if you're quick to spot the problems and the flaws in others, more than likely there's things within you for you yet to clear up and deal with. At least that was true of me. As we get healthier and as we start to love ourselves more, and as we start doing this work that we can do, this self-healing work, the thing that'll start to happen, you'll be amazed, is whatever people are doing, you'll find that it won't bother you as much. Because what will start to happen is, you'll understand, we teach here that there's one life, one power, one energy, and that power and energy is operating in us and through us, right? And we have the ability to develop a healing conversation with ourselves. So when we really begin to do this work more and more, we will understand that these other folks in our life that we've been quick to judge and fight and argue with, these are beings who have consciousness just like I do and you do. And they're evolving the same way I'm evolving and you're evolving. And so Louise Hay makes the point that they're all doing the best that they can with what they have, their understanding. And none of us have exactly walked their road, and we don't know exactly what goes on inside of them. It's very easy and very quick for us to make people wrong and to do all of our focus on other people. And the whole point of her teaching is that the healing that can occur occurs within ourselves. There goes her expression, all healing is self-healing. So as we get involved in practical metaphysics, we start paying closer attention to what the conversation is. And you know what I mean by the conversation, because I ask the question almost every week. What's the conversation that you're having, and what's the conversation you've been having with yourself the past few days? Because that's the conversation that plays and creates your life. If you notice that you're being critical of others and you're always complaining, if you're the one who's the fault finder, if you're the one that's making people wrong, just notice that, okay? And here's the thing we would suggest. We're learning here to live the affirmative life, right? We're learning here to say, I love, accept, and approve of myself exactly as I am. We're learning to understand that everyone is, again, doing the best they can with what they have. So I know that's a lot to ask because most people are, to a degree, other referred. All they talk about is other people. And that's really not the way of a metaphysician or a New Thought student. A New Thought student is really being about what they used to call the Father's business, which today we would say we are about the business of spirit. We're about having the understanding that we are expressing ourselves with all and the best that we have, and we can level up to a place where we can express more. The more and more we're doing the work, the less and less we're going to be bothered by the things of the world. Because we know there's an adage we have here in this teaching, perfect place, perfect time, and all the time. So we know that everyone, including ourselves most of all, though we've made many mistakes, we know that wherever we are and wherever people are, they're in a continuum of growth, and life is unfolding in me and you and all of these folks. And at this point, I'd ask you to think back in your own self, maybe go back 3 or 4 years, or 5, or maybe 10, and think of the person that you were and the thoughts you were thinking and the things that you were doing. And I'd be willing to bet that much of what was going on with you then has been improved upon. I had a teacher early on who said life is like, you could think of it like a school, that you are given lessons, and sometimes the lessons are not fun, sometimes they're okay, but they're all designed to bring you to a higher place. Oftentimes we say here the things that are happening in your life are not happening to you, but they're happening for you. They're there to teach you different things, maybe to let go of things that don't work well, so you can embrace other things that work better. Maybe it's always there to bring you up. So this is what we do week by week. We pay attention. We learn to become more mindful of what it is that we're thinking, what our inner dialogue is. I always ask, what's it been like? And we have an opportunity here always on our calls for you to share, say, hi, I'm new, I'm from New York, I'm from wherever, and how you're doing. Have you been good to yourself? Have you been critical? And if you've been really critical or down on yourself, what have you done with it? You might say, oh, well, I found myself being really rough on myself this week. And then I stopped it. We joke, we say, stop in the name of love. We stopped that conversation and we started a more self-loving dialogue. We're heading into New Year's. It's just a day away, right? And it's a time where people reflect. There's lots of things you can do in New Year's, but I don't know how well resolutions work for people. I think they work well if you stick with them. I had a whole bunch of tweets that people have been sending about this new year, self-loving kind of tweets that I thought might be appropriate since we're about to close out this great year of 2021. It's a list of any kind of resolutions that anybody can start in terms of practicing greater self-care, self-love. And here's the first. This year, I will express my gratitude for what I already have and I'm fortunate enough to experience. So you could be tweeting these out if you know how to tweet, or you could be writing them down if you want to. Again, this year I will express my gratitude for everything, for what I already have and what I'm fortunate enough to experience. Next tweet. See, we're in a day of tweets. It used to be we'd have sticky notes and affirmations on mirrors. Now we have Facebook and Instagram. This year, I will make time to take care of myself. I will make it a big priority, even if that means disappointing others. Okay. Yeah, that's an important idea. Sometimes we neglect self-care because we're involved in caring for others. So it isn't mean-spirited. It's mean-spirited. It's great advice. This year, I will make time to take care of myself, even if that means I have to disappoint a few people, right? The next tweet for the coming year, which you can see how that resonates, is this year I will celebrate my body and its very unique and miraculous capabilities. So whatever body you have, you want to celebrate it, right? And whatever health you have, you want to celebrate that too. It's real easy to talk about what your body isn't. I mean, as you get up in terms of time and whatever, and everything starts shifting around a little bit, and maybe your health isn't the same as what it was when you're 18. So you could go the other route. You could talk about, you could say, oh my God, my body's falling apart, and and you could be talking about health that might not be the same. But this particular affirmation, this tweet, is different in that it suggests, you could say, this year I'm going to celebrate my body, whatever body you have, and its unique and miraculous capabilities. And I'm going to celebrate whatever health I have. I want to talk about my health rather than my illness. Okay? If you keep on talking about your health, you're going to produce more health. If you keep on talking about what's wrong and missing, then it works the other way. So the next suggestion, affirmation, and this year, 2021, and tweet, this year I will love and accept my choices, my thoughts, and once again, my body. There's a whole industry out there that buys diet books by the millions, right? And they're always trying to change. So I remember Louise Hay would say, the best way to change is to start changing by loving yourself. You'll start losing weight. You'll start doing everything. Because she said, when you really, really love yourself, everything in your world begins to change. When you're really loving yourself, you'll find the ways to find healthier foods. You'll find the ways to maybe get a little bit more movement. But if your whole inner dialogue is critical, you'll probably head towards more food, and you'll do the opposite of what you want to do. So the tweet again is, this year I will love and accept my choices, thoughts, and my body. And the thing to realize here too is you're always free to choose again. See, we make lots of mistakes while we're growing and learning, but that means you're in the game and you're making choices, and you're free to choose again, always, right? So we have another. This year, I will practice being present and mindful of my current experience. This is one of the greatest gifts that anybody could ever probably do for themselves, if they could slow down a little bit and learn to take some deep breaths and be mindful. In our affirmative prayer process, the first step of our affirmative prayer is doing just that, where we slow down and we recognize that there's a power and there's a presence and it's in us. So this year, if you practice being present and a little bit more mindful, right? Being present, that I'm one with this power. If you can slow down and do that a little bit more, be more mindful of your current experience, great good will come forward. You can also this year begin using some of these affirmations, like I love, accept, and approve of myself exactly as I am. And other affirmations that are uniquely powerful to you. I remember when I was younger, I would always say, this is God in my life. And it would be anything, and wherever I was. Because I might be inclined to think all kinds of things were going on that were terrible. And I would remind myself that everything is perfect and that this is God in my life. And it's like a switch. Instead of me reacting to what's going on, I would tell myself, all is well, which was another famous Louise Hay phrase. All is well, and everyone is doing the best they can. This year, I'm going to treat myself with the same kindness that I give to my best friend. I mean, all of us know that we're pretty good to our friends, right? But I bet most of us aren't as good to ourselves. I mean, we'll go for the extra mile for our friends. We'll give more and more to our friends. And so we're heading into a new year, and this is probably a very good one. This year I intend to treat myself with the same kind of kindness that I give to the people closest to me. So you might want to try that one on, or as the author of this article says, tweet it, post it, or post it on our social media. The next is, this year I will express myself creatively and loudly. I won't hide my voice anymore because I deserve to take up space on this earth. See, a lot of people have played their lives in a very small way, and of course, we don't encourage that here. We encourage everybody to find out who they have come here to be. In all of our classes and activities, every Sunday morning at 10:45 and every Thursday at 7, we're wanting you to remember and to wake up and remember who you are and what you are, and to find your voice and to find your gifts. Many of us have lived under the shadows of others, our parents or grandparents. We have lots of agreements. You might recall the book, The Four Agreements, that have been with us since children. And in this teaching, we're always encouraging you to step past the past so you can be alive and new in a new moment and create a new reality. And all of the universe that operates through you, if I can go back to Emerson, is wooing you to take that next step. So this year, again, the tweet is, I will express myself creatively and loudly because I deserve to take up space on this earth. Each of us are what we call individualizations of this one life, and it's in you, operating through you, and it's longing to express itself through you. We have a couple more. It's not weakness to reach out to others. So this year, I will ask for help when I need it. I don't have to do it all alone. It doesn't mean that I failed when you ask for help. Asking for help is a very healthy thing to do. And this year, one more tweet. Actually, I have two. This year, I will allow myself to dream bigger dreams, letting go of the idea of things being too late or impossible. Louise would ask us the question, what are you approaching the ocean of life with? Do you have a very small container, a small estimation of who you are and what you are? And she challenged you to develop a bigger concept of yourself. So using her own analogy, as you approach the ocean of life, which is like source, we wish that you have a huge capacity to receive and give and receive. So this year I will allow myself to dream bigger dreams and let go of the idea that something's not possible or it's too late. And the sky's the limit, and the universe is always saying to you, your wish is my command. So this is coming to the end of our 2021 Louise Hay series, where we've had 52 classes. It's always our pleasure to teach people more about how to love themselves and accept themselves and approve of themselves. it's always going to be about the inner dialogue that you're having with the most important person in the world, which is you, always. It's always about realizing that God is in you, operating through you, and yearning to express more and greater and more dynamic ways. So this class is completely designed for you to empower yourself. You can check in anytime. We're always rebroadcasting these classes 24 hours a day on Facebook and on YouTube. Invite your friends. It's really good when you can join in the Zoom, because in a moment we're going to break. And then either I or Jimmy or one of us are always here facilitating the discussion afterwards. And we learn a lot from one another. And that's the best thing of any Louise Hay class I've ever been involved in, is there's the lesson that's important, but it's the personal sharing too. And lastly, just a brief commercial. The center has got right now a virtual membership drive going on through the middle of January. I mean, you're free to watch our lessons without any cost, but if you want to join the center virtually, we have a special promotion for $50 for the whole year of 2022. And we give you some real goodies, a few talks and counseling session, or a few, just different things. So send us a message if you're interested. I'm glad you're here. Invite your friends. We're going to know you're going to have a fantastic, healthy, successful new year together. And we're going to take a quick break. And on the other side of the call, one or two of us will be here to facilitate the discussion. So happy New Year, and we'll see you in a moment.